Here, Luna, you want the fan on higher? Okay. Hey, pretty girl. You want this higher to you in the beds? Is that good, honey bear? Is that a goodness? Is that a goodness? Is that for you, honey goodness? Just as you're making it weird. Oh, you're the nest. You're the nest. Give me the kisses. Kissy girl. Alright. It's cold out this morning. It's chilly outside in northern New Mexico this morning. Good thing I got my government issue. It's mine. Got my name on it. It's just a character I played. I figured out when I was a little kid that that's how people were doing everywhere. They were just playing roles. Adults were just playing grown-up. And then I grew up and I figured out what I believe was true. People play politician. People play doctor. They play it on TV. And then they play it in real life, only they go to school where they take courses like biology, where they learn lines so that they can make proficient their role. But all they ever do is practice medicine. They don't ever perfect medicine. Military members, they play a role of protectors. How many military members freaking are very abusive to their loved ones, their family members, their kids? How many military members are supposed to be the good example? And they can't keep their finances in order. When I was stationed at Offutt Air Force Base, they had courses that you had, like briefings. You always had these briefings. They're always telling you how you had to live. And some of those briefings entailed finances. Like you couldn't screw up your finances if you were a military member. And now, word is, Offutt Air Force Base is asking the community to come together to feed the airmen. It's like, dude, they had plenty of money. They had plenty of money, and look what they didn't do with it. I've been saying in the Fed for years, because they don't do what they get paid to do, and that's support the people that can't support themselves. And in America, there's more people that can't support themselves than can. Because there's able-bodied people of all ages, female, male, I don't care what you call yourself. If you don't get off your couch and don't leave your house and ever do nothing to help nobody else, you're no good. You're just an NPC. Go back and play your video game. You know? They do have things like excavators, remote control excavators, where dudes freaking operate large equipment and produce things. They're actually contributing by, it's like a video game. Why don't people do that for a little while and then go back to your video game? Work a little bit and then go back and play. That's how the world used to be. Like, you used to work, then you got paid enough to support yourself. Then every now and again you could make enough extra to go someplace different and learn about a different way of living in other lands and vacation and recharge your batteries so you can go back. But that program doesn't work anymore because it got hijacked. It got manipulated by too many poli-sci majors. Too many people playing a character, a role. They didn't honor their role, their commitment. So I don't know about other countries, but the country I live in, America, is falling down the cracks because these people playing characters They don't know what to say because the line feeders have dumbed down, so they're not getting words on their teleprompters. We lived in a contrived reality. Do you think we would have wars in places we had no business if there was never war movies on TV? You think they would even exist? Like, where is the idea that America's under attack? Where does that ever come from? Like the whole, because I know Biff, that's what I call the orange man. I call Biff because that's what he is. He's a character, he's a role. And he's off that movie, Back to the Future. You know, with Biff Towers and everything Biff, everything, all things Biff. We're going to have Biff flags all over it, everything. Because this guy has an inferiority complex and ideas of grandeur. And they clash. That's why he does all this weird stuff. You know, cities are just a stage, a backdrop for the people that play the roles of city council, picture their town on how they want it to be. They're just living in a contrived reality. I mean, we could make up places where, like, if, you know, travelers can go and not freeze to death, but Biff wants to make it illegal to be homeless instead, but he don't get, like, people like my mom get $800 a month, and there aren't places that are gonna rent to a lady with her head skull crushed by a dude that she cared for. They don't care about the circumstances that people get their disabilities. They just want their money. They just want their gold. They just want their shit. And so America's going down the toilet. Why? Because karma's a real thing, and we never have any business except for protecting this land. This land is the only land. So if something happens in America, like, all military members should go in and support hurricanes, tornadoes. That is what this military is supposed to be. This country is supposed to be, but they play games. They make us believe an area over there in the desert that at its widest point is 12 miles wide. Look up the Gaza Strip. It's 12 miles wide. And I think it's 34 miles long. Yet this place they've been bombing this place for decades. Boom, billions of dollars go over there. It's like, how come they're not done yet? Shouldn't they have, like, rebuilt their waterfront property several times over based on the amount of land that they keep talking about? Because that's all that they talk about. The little wall kissers. Little wall. I know people that kiss the wall. People that honor and pay homage to bullshit. Ideologies. You can't change a tire, but I think about all the resources that people use to go over there to pay homage. Then go there, stay there. Because all that shit and all that AFAT, all the reindeer games that the politicians play, all the senators, you know, all the millionaires. Well, we got to go over there because our heart's with them. Then stay there, and then we can rebuild this land how it should have been before the stupid fucking colonists took it over. With their butt stuff. And their little pretty parties and their little freaking weird cannibalism shit. And their little fucking rituals. I don't give a shit about none of that Freemason crap. It's all a club, and the clubs are stupid. Everywhere I see membership required with paid inclusion, or inclusion with paid membership required. All these is, you know, spiritual gurus on the internet that are locking their shit down, so you gotta pay. Money's not real. What the fuck are you gonna do with it when the bottom falls out? Because they might have a new economic system that they put in place. That don't matter. It's gonna reset somehow. But my direct deposit landed today, so I must be in good standing. See, they must not believed in Santa enough to recognize that good people get taken care of. All the religions say it. So you do right and good things happen to you. You do wrong and the struggle will find you. You will find the struggle that you create by just withholding help. So now we're going to see a lot more people struggle, because when they were sitting in their seats typing on their keyboards in their Social Security offices or in their whatever office where they were getting a paycheck to help their fellow neighbors, the people in their own communities, they served a beast in a far off land on a hill. So let's see whose direct deposit doesn't hit. Where I live, there was a time I needed food stamps in Taos when I first moved here. I couldn't get them. Am I supposed to feel bad for the people that are now struggling, that didn't distribute the shit to help people? Because if they don't help me, just a chick that fucking a retarded chick that's just trying to take care of her mom till their last breath, because the world ain't never done me no favors, then how does everybody else gonna fare? And the state in which I live, New Mexico, they got freaking years they got COVID money, bought all these ATVs. You can tell people are suffering because they're backpedaling with all the stupid shit that they never should have bought to begin with. I was talking to my friend Mr. Iski yesterday, and I was like, I was only at Offutt for 5 years. I did a 6-year enlistment. I was there 5.5 years. The first 7-8 months was basic training in tech school down at Shepherd Air Force Base. Evidently, that's where Sabrina Wallace's dad was stationed. That just says so much. Just give me a frickin' break. Learn to change a tire. Teach your kids to change a tire too. Do something useful with the air you're sucking in and breathing out. With your little, I can get myself chicken skin on command too. With my energetic magnetic field. I disrupt technology at the grocery store. I tell people it's my magnetic personality, because it happens so much. Now Offutt is just a ghost town. It's just a name only. It's just, they don't have nobody there to do nothing. They get all these budgets they allocate. We need this much money to spend on airmen to support and there is no mission at Offutt anymore. And that was where the president landed on 9/11. Brr. And they freaking piss away so much money. Military members make plenty of money. Don't think that government, they make plenty of money. They just spend it on stupid shit. And then they can't spin all the plates that they have on their poles, trying to juggle their life of all the things that they need to support their character of the role in which they're playing. Because they're just playing a role. Astrologers, they're just playing a role. I'm a Heyoka. I'm playing a jack of all tirades. I've done so many things. I played the role of IT professional. I played the role of military member in a time of war and wartime environments. I played the role of caregiver to my mom from the time I was a very young girl. So I played doctor. I've nursed wounds that I didn't want to, that grossed me out. Bodily functions and stuff like that, they freaking creep me out. Other people's stuff, I don't want to touch other people's stuff. It's gross to me. If somebody needs attention, medical attention, I'm going to do it because I've been trained in so many facets on how to take care of people. I'm not going to take my knowledge and be like, nah, I don't want to be bothered. I'm just going to leave, you know? If I see somebody choking and I know how to dislodge because I've almost choked in the middle of the night or 4:30 in the morning, and so I had to, on a garlic clove. So it's scary. So my whole life revolves on acts of service because I had to learn how to be so painfully self-sufficient because I've asked for help in life and people are like, nah, she's a strong person. She can do it herself. And it's interesting how these people that have just taken on such attitudes, many of them aren't even here anymore. So, you know, Mom taught me about karma when I was a little girl. Like, you don't hit people because that comes back to you. You don't cause harm, it comes back to you. And then I learned about the military-industrial complex, and I became a part of the military-industrial complex. And then that's when I realized that America's playing a role. Because we exercised for 18 months. We played war to the point that I was in a fake morgue with a toe tag on so that we could simulate going over to the desert and having a war. Well, yeah, we dropped real arsenal, but there's no reason for it. There's never any weapons of mass destruction. I mean, like, how many bombs have we dropped? How many arsenals have we expunged? And Congress didn't approve any of it. It's all under the guise of joint forces. It's just bullshit. It's loopholes, but they can't create loopholes to support single parents, moms and dads, to give them enough money that whenever they swipe their plastic card, they can get whatever they need. Rent, swipe, okay, done. You know? Like, nobody should ever, in America, the richest country in the world supposedly, bullshit, land of the stupid cousins, that, you know, people that live, because people, $1,200 a month. That's what our bill's excess outgoing is. $1,200 a month. That's what I reduced our bills to. And yet people spend thousands of dollars on car payments and bullshit. Bullshit. And then excess that I have, I like to do stuff like buy these and give them to people on the street. Stuff that's useful. Not fucking greasy hamburgers. People live on the street, they can't take a shit anywhere, but people want to fucking load their colon down with disgusting food. It doesn't even make any sense to me. So, give them this shit, let them make their own food. They're just little, you know, and they'll put my stickers on them. Because this is the message I'm trying to spread. This is my plight. Straight people like rainbows too. It's funny. I came up with this when I was 9 years old. See that rainbow? I found the picture. The first picture that I drew. I was 8 years old, 9 years old when I drew it. I can't believe I found it, that I still have it. It's hilarious. Here it is. Mom kept a scrapbook. This is the picture, and it's the same order. Yellow, orange, red, green, blue, purple. Isn't that... So this came from this. The pot of gold. I always did the birds this way. That's so funny. It says, have a nice day. It says on the back, rain. I like the rain because it helps the trees and the flowers and the it says Marge. Oh, it says Margie, 2nd grade, 7 years old. Because it helps the trees and the flowers and the gardens too. If you like the rain, you're lucky. Everybody is lucky because everybody likes rain. So I still kept my inner child. Because I never hurt nobody with my demons. You know? All that is people have demons. Yeah, they have impulses. They have anger. Like, so they show up in life in situations that reminded of something that happened fucking 20 years ago that don't matter. And then they add alcohol and booze to it. So that puts their mind in a time and a place that they aren't in. And it doesn't matter. Yet people, their pride and their bullshit and their this and their that and their, you know, make them, cause them, drives them, causes them and drives them to cause harm. And I'm just really grateful that I never put my hands on anybody out of anger. I've only put my hands on men to fucking defend myself. Because they fucking feel like they're emasculated. Because I show up, I got all this masculine energy, you know, and I learned how to balance it with my femininity, and then they feel threatened because I can do easy what they can't do. Then they get mad at me like I'm a show off. I'm just me. I don't know what your problem is. I know what their problem is. Their problem is that America spent $58 billion on male enhancement drugs last year. Because the mind controls the body. And their mind, and men all over the place are telling themselves that, I don't know what they're telling themselves, but women are not satisfied everywhere. Women are tired of raising extra children in the form of men that are supposed to be their partners in life. My mom was one of those. Married a good-looking guy, man. He was a hottie, looked like Elvis. Ooh, lolly lolly. He's one of those narcissist guys that mommy and daddy always took care of and bailed out, and he never had to cop up to his responsibility, and then came me. Where I taught him how to be a man, and he can't even look in my face anymore. Because I look like he did, the age that I was a little girl and I could have used some help, but he just couldn't be bothered because he was out fucking cruising with lot lizards and shit like that, because he was a truck driver, and that's the life that truck drivers live. So, you know, you think they're really great guys going off supporting their family. They're doing all kinds of stupid shit that if you knew about it, you'd probably be sad. And then they see everything. They see all the ugliness because it all comes out at night in the darkness, because that's when the demons are on auto. People are run on autopilot. Because all the important people are at home asleep and they're only up during the day. So the dastardly, the heathens are running rapid. I used to run amongst the heathens. I am a heathen from time to time if I'm not careful, if I'm not in my balanced in my shadow and dark. This is another thing that I found. This is freaking hilarious. I can't believe this stuff that I found. This is hilarious. Okay, so Mom kept all this stuff from scrapbooks when we were little, right? So this is my brother's brain, right? Just hodgepodge, just a disarray. That looks like a mushroom there, like a mushroom stamp, right? Just hodgepodge. So that's how they start to program what character people are going to be. Is these people are easy to program. They're going to do whatever you want. But people like me, I was 5 years old when I did this. My light and my shadow. This is the kind of stuff I did. Oh, there's my little turkey hand. Little beans and stuff like that. There's a little beak with the googly eye. I can't believe Mom kept this stuff. But my brother's definitely with the program. He's a poli-sci major. He went with the program. I live from my heart. He scoffs at me and makes fun of me for that. He said that before. Yeah, you always live from your heart. That's always got me what I needed when I needed it, and I never asked for too much either. Why do people need so much to live comfortable in life? All I want is a nice place where Mom isn't going to freeze or took us off at night. You know, where she's comfortable. And in the summer that she's not hot. Because she's her little body's been too much. I'm trying to get her to 75 next month. Which is tomorrow. And in tomorrow month, she'll be 75. And the world hasn't done her a whole lot of favors. So it's, whenever I go out and I speak for the disenfranchised, I speak for her. I speak for all the people, all the women, all the men that just what got up to go live their life. And something, life freaking, God came up and smacked them. And then they couldn't take care of themselves anymore. There's lots of them. And people that have support systems, they have no fucking clue. They have no concept. They would rather believe in Santa Claus than believe the day I had when Mom said, Marge, come in here, I need you. And I walked in and she said something happened. And she was on the toilet and she leans forward. And like 4 inches of her rectum had prolapsed. I was 15. I didn't even have my license. I still drove her into the ER. But the system said I wasn't capable, right? I've been taking care of her since I was a kid. But people don't believe people like me exist. Because they don't want to. Because people like me are going to fucking break your world. Because that's what I do. I break paradigms. Oh, this is how you think your world is? Really? Because this is how you've lived? And you've lived just like everybody else that you sat next to in a stadium? And you live just like everybody else that sat there and spent hours playing on a video game? Instead of people using their free will and at least sometimes taking that and exerting their life force and energy, their currency, into inconveniencing themselves to go do something to make somebody else's life easier. There's not more of those people. And I don't want to hear nothing about no stupid holidays. I love fall. I can't stand holidays, man. And we're coming up into the stupid reindeer game season. It's goofy. Don't nobody come up to me and talk to me about ascended freaking spiritual beings and shit like that, and then say, I gotta take the night off because I gotta take my kid trick-or-treating. That's worlds collide. The two don't mix. Like, holidays don't happen in 5D Earth. So what the fuck are people even doing with that, you know? Like, you can't have both. You can't have 3D Earth and 5D Earth. You can't, like, declare being an authentic being and then being like, oh, I gotta take this week off because I gotta go eat fucking turkey and play some colonial bullshit. I always think about what America could be if Turtle Island was allowed to grow and prosper as it was intended before it was taken over and put in a freaking cage of dominance and control under the air of freedom and democracy. Like, what really could it be if there's fruit and vegetables everywhere? You don't need regulation. People that regulate things don't know how, like, want to control how you live your life, understand in their shadow, because everybody has a shadow in their shadow, they're walking around where they don't control themselves. So you got to look at their weird behavior, and maybe they should be tracking their cars and where they're going in the middle of the night. Because people in those clubs are doing all kinds of weird stuff in the middle of the night. Nothing good happens past 10 o'clock. Nothing. Nothing. No reason for people, no, but like that's where the excitement happens. That's where the good stuff happens. That's where I used to be out in it too. And God, man, the dark, wicked stuff I've seen, I don't want to see that stuff anymore. So I'm not going to put myself in harm's way. I'm not going to put myself in a place where I could freaking potentially be hurt. You know? And where I live, people are just goofy. They want to hurt just to see what it feels like to hurt somebody. And that's like sociopathic, psychopathic, narcissistic, crazy. All of those words basically denote the same thing, and that is people that don't have a soul and just are navigating completely from self-will. Because soul is that connection to source that says don't cause harm, don't hurt nobody. Don't say that. Don't do that. Don't just, no. See that person on the side of the road? Help them get their car out of the way and see if you can't get them, if you got anything in your car that can help get them going. I just got me one of those battery jump start kits that has an air compressor. So I'm ready to go out, get a hot cup of coffee, and go out and help people start their cars in the morning. Stuff like that. There's always the ways that I can help people because I know how to do so many useful things. And the world is full of fucking unuseful idiots. Like, what good, you're out in the wood, your plane crashes, your car breaks down, you're not in cell service, it's starting to get cold out. You gotta think about how you're gonna not freeze to death overnight. Make a fire, make a shelter, stuff like that. What do? You tap into all those sports stats that you heard your whole life. Chumps, these are the men. Every time I hear how something stupid happens, some unuseful idiot dies in some kind of dumb way, military member, police, it don't matter. I'm just like, yeah, these are our protectors. These are the people that I'm supposed to call when I'm in trouble. I learned a long time ago. You know who I call on? I call on God. All right, I'll do the right thing. What is it? What is it you want me to do? I'll do the right thing. I'm excited. I'm going to make a freaking pull-out kitchen in the back of the bourbon. And then I'm just going to show up where people are gathered and freaking make them fucking rad restaurant-style food and stuff like that. All out of my pocket. And I don't do nothing for nonprofit. I'm not tied to the government. That's all that stuff is register with us so we can track you and we can take half your money. That's all that systems are. They're welfare systems. And I grew up on welfare, and people, I'm hearing the men that I listen to talk shit about people on welfare. You don't want to hear my story. People like Frank don't want to hear my story because I'm going to break his brain. And the shit that my mother had to endure. Because we were on welfare. And I got off it when I was 18. I grew up on welfare. So I want to change the system. And people that have never been a part of it should probably shut the fuck up. And stick to your video games. And your little sportsies. Your little basey ballsies. And your little collegey footballs. And your little waste of timesy here's. And theirs. Or listen to somebody that actually has life experience. Try that. Wouldn't that be a fucking trip? But people don't want to listen to people like me because I'll fucking break their brains. I'll break their whole existence. The whole life that they live, 30, 40 years old, it's complete nonsense. And I'll give them verifiable facts, and they don't want to hear it. Because they don't want to wake up, because they like living in their land of delusions. And I ain't here to wake people up. I'm not here to wake nobody up. I don't fucking care. If anybody ever sees the light of the truth of the algorithm of the cave, and that outside is reality based on what you perceive from your inside. And my program is, I program myself with wholesome stuff. And people that like scary season and horror shows, you evidently, obviously have never seen snuff films. You don't know what the darkness that this world really is, and you're looking for a little thrill. Well, some of us have lived lives and experiences so horrific, we don't want to see horror shows. We don't want to see horror movies. We don't like spooky season because we know the evil that really lurks on planet Earth. And people play too much, and they play dress up, and they play this. And every November 1st, there's a whole bunch of people missing that are never seen again because they went to the wrong party and they hung out with the wrong people that are into really weird fucking shit, that do gross stuff after the sun goes down. But they're not going to stop it because it's a good time, right? It's just fun. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody's just woo woo, you know. They never learn. Perception is reality. So I like to keep it nice and light. I didn't know all the darkness existed, and I mean, I wasn't affirmed. And I used to think that, like, never mind. I'm not going to go into that. That's too deep for right now. But I grew up on, like, comedies and stuff like that. And my brother was always into the shadow aspects of life. Dude was a total fucking cheater, man. He's a total cheater. I'm finding, like, he has all these awards, but I just remember him, like, God. And these are the people that run California, and, you know, the people that run the states. These are the important people. They get there not because they did the hard work, and now the land is owned and operated by a lot of cheaters, and that's an imbalance. That's a cosmic, karmic injustice. And just because people with opposable thumbs, beings with opposable thumbs, don't acknowledge and recognize universal law, it doesn't mean universal law doesn't exist. And I go by universal law. So I don't need laws. I don't need policemen. I don't need all of those things, all of those entities, agencies that pay themselves to play a role, a character. And then they stop doing the work to support that role. Like policemen, firemen, and EMTs, they used to have to be fit. Now they're not. Now it's, no more calendars. Maybe it'll evolve back because of people's free will. They'll, you know, that's why when I was in the military and I was in the Air Force, they put me on the Chunky Chicken Club. I got off it though. I did the work. You gotta do the work though. That's the thing. But America's people got the good jobs. People quit doing the work because why bother? Because the good jobs are already going to somebody because of who they know. Oh, we have this new position coming up. Oh, I'm gonna get it. I've been working hard. No, you're not, because homeboy's nephew over there in the other department, he's graduating in May, so that job's already going to him. So it don't matter how loyal you were to this company and how much work you gave them. This position's already filled. We already have a character to play an actor to play that character of that role in that company. They're better suited for the role than you are. I learned in 2016 I wasn't willing to play a role anymore, and that's when I become unemployable. And then universe opened up ways that I could support me and mom. Direct deposit. Direct deposit every month. I ruined my body. But we live comfortable beneath my means. I don't drive a new car. I don't have a $600 car payment. I put more into the vehicle that I drive to fix it, to repair all the things that break at around 200,000 miles. Keep it road ready. I just spent $1,400 on tires. Like, it's a nice ride. You know, but I don't worry if I get door dinged. Like, it's going to get me to point A, point B, and it's reliable. That's the... So you can tell a lot about people by what they do with their currency, their earned income. And so a lot of people will piss it away because it's just given to them because they're spoiled brats, and that's just how it is. They have nothing to offer but because they're given everything. So it just flows through them. That's what rich people do. They piss away things. And you can tell the kind of person I am why I drive, because, you know, I'm an old tried and true. And I try to keep things in my car that if I, you know, come across somebody that needs help, I can pull them out of a ditch. I'm going to get a winch soon. Or I can make them breakfast or do whatever, you know. Because, you know, when you've been unprepared and you've had life situations come up and it's just like, oh man, if I had this, and this, that would have been so much easier to handle. And I've lived a lot of situations like that with mom because I've been limited with things I can do. Not because of ability, it's because of time constraints, and not being able to leave mom for any period of time since 2016. And then having to freaking live in a flaky society and having to move from state to state. It's a wild story, you know. But other people, their stories are starting to get more and more wild now. So that's cool. We'll have more shit to talk about around the campfire, you know, when people gather, because we're going to live communally. So I keep looking for property and houses. I like this new style of house where they have the big outside outbuilding, like a big garage, and then they have the living corners built in like half of that. So I could have my workshop right connected to the house. Because this one, it was in South Dakota someplace, and it was only $400, it was like $489, but it was on a nice piece of beautiful property, and right across the street there's a bike trail that you could ride all the way into town. Woo! Right? And so, but they has like this big old huge bay where you could put 2 RVs in it, and I was like, man, I could do my woodworking in there. I want to do like aerial gymnastics, because stretching and stuff like that is good for my body. I got to start being more conscious of fitness now if I want any kind of quality of life in 5 years from now. And then if I'm here in 5 years, I gotta work every day for the 5 years I gotta try, man. I can't just sit around and wait. So, I got so many ideas of things that I can do at home. And then I want to have people come visit me. I want to have guests, to have people come visit, and then we can go bebop around. I'll play tour guide. And I'll show you around the town in which I live, and we'll go eat at this restaurant because it's rad and the people are freaking great. I don't think I can do that in Taos. I've tried. Maybe it'll change. I don't know. It's not really looking that way, but we'll see. Anyway, you ready to get up, Ma? You warm enough? Huh? Are you warm enough? You chill? Alright, that's about all I got for now. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you have a rad day. Peace.